Engage with the world instead of standing on the sidelines judging it. Life does not reward spectators, it rewards participants. The people who grow are not the ones who watch the highlight reel, but the ones who step onto the field and take the hit. Go find new terrain, both physical and mental. Put yourself in rooms where you feel small. Walk into situations where you don't yet know the rules. That discomfort is not a warning sign, it's an invitation. You don't discover who you are by staying safe. You discover who you are by testing yourself. Every meaningful version of you is hiding behind a risk you keep avoiding. The problem is, most people don't avoid risk because they're weak. They avoid it because they've been trained to choose comfort and call it wisdom. Comfort feels smart in the short term, but it robs you quietly over time. It numbs your instincts. It dulls your hunger. It convinces you that staying the same is stability, when in reality, it's slow decay. Start with the truth about yourself, not the fantasy version, not the version that sounds impressive at parties, the real one. What do you have an innate pull toward? What do you do naturally that feels almost unfair? That thing matters, not because it guarantees success, but because it gives you leverage. Everyone is born with a certain wiring. Ignore it, and life becomes exhausting. Respect it, and effort turns into momentum. That doesn't mean you'll automatically be great. Talent without work is just wasted potential with an ego problem. Having an innate ability doesn't excuse you from discipline. It actually demands more of it. The real question is not what you're good at, but what you're willing to suffer for. What are you willing to study when no one is watching? What are you willing to practice when the results aren't immediate? What are you willing to look stupid doing for longer than your pride wants to tolerate? Some people wait to feel passion before they work. That's backwards. Passion is often the reward for mastery, not the prerequisite. You don't fall in love with the craft before you understand it. You fall in love with it after repetition gives you confidence, and confidence gives you rhythm. When something starts working, when your effort starts producing results, the joy follows. Most people quit right before that moment because it stops being new and starts being demanding. And yes, sometimes you choose something you're not naturally gifted at. That's allowed too. You can outwork a lack of talent if your commitment is deep enough. You can build skill where there was none. But even then, you have to be honest about the trade-off. Everything costs something: time, energy, focus, identity. You don't get to have everything. You get to choose what you pay for. There comes a moment in every life where confusion becomes unbearable, where distraction stops working, where pretending you're fine takes more energy than facing the truth. That's the moment most people panic and reach for noise. They fill their days with activity to avoid the silence. But silence is where clarity lives. If you're lost, good. Lost means you're not asleep. Lost means the old map doesn't work anymore. At some point, you have to remove your own escape routes. You have to stop giving yourself a soft exit. Stop leaving the door cracked open just in case. That safety net becomes a trap. You don't take the leap because part of you plans to retreat. There's a moment where you have to put both hands on the wheel and accept full responsibility. No more blaming timing, parents, luck, or circumstances. Not because those things don't matter, but because ownership changes how you move. Becoming an adult isn't about age, it's about accountability. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "This is on me." No applause, no excuses, just ownership. Walk forward with intention, narrow your focus, stop performing confidence, and start building it. Courage isn't loud, it's quiet consistency when no one is clapping. Work ethic isn't glamorous. Hustle isn't aesthetic. It's repetitive, boring, and often lonely, but it's honest. It builds something real. There are no shortcuts that don't charge interest later. The bill always comes due. Integrity matters because lies collapse under pressure. Truth scales, love scales, belief scales. Those aren't just moral ideas, they're practical ones. What you believe shows up in what you do, not what you say. Belief is action. If you say you believe in yourself but never take a step that risks embarrassment, you don't believe, you're hoping. And hope without movement is just fear dressed politely. Don't build your identity out of external things. Titles fade, applause moves on, validation is rented, not owned. If your sense of self depends on how you're perceived, you'll live at the mercy of other people's moods. Do the work, build the thing, become the person. Let recognition catch up later if it does at all. Resistance isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's proof you're doing something meaningful. Nothing with substance exists without resistance. Without pressure, there's no form. Without friction, there's no direction. You need something to push against to move forward. Floating feels free until you realize you're going nowhere. A life with no resistance isn't peaceful, it's empty. You don't sharpen yourself in comfort, you dull yourself there. Growth requires opposition. That doesn't mean you seek chaos or sabotage your progress. It means you don't run from challenge when it appears. You choose the right resistance, the kind that strengthens instead of destroys. Failure isn't the enemy, avoidance is. Playing small to avoid loss guarantees a different kind of loss. You lose respect for yourself. You lose momentum. You lose the chance to see what you're capable of. Aim high. Reality will land where it lands, but aiming low doesn't protect you, it limits you. Perfection is not achievable, but it's useful. It pulls you forward. It raises the standard of your effort. Even when you miss it, you land higher than you would have otherwise. Set the bar where it scares you. Then accept reality with humility instead of bitterness. Learn quickly, move again. The greatest creations, the most meaningful lives come from people who live with an expectation gap. They see what could be, even when it's not yet real. That gap never fully closes, and that's the point. It keeps you moving. Arrival is a myth. Growth is the truth. Convenience is seductive. It promises ease, but it steals depth. The easier the path, the less it asks of you, and the less you become. When everything is handed to you, you forget how to carry weight. When effort disappears, meaning follows it out the door. Technology can assist you, but it cannot replace the process of becoming. You don't learn by skipping struggle. You don't gain wisdom by outsourcing thought. The sweat matters. The revision matters. The frustration matters. That's where ownership is built. That's where your voice is formed. Go the direction that requires you to think, not just consume. Create more than you absorb. Write, build, fail, revise. Let feedback shape you, not define you. If the world understands what you tried to say, that's proof you understand it yourself. There will be seasons where the wind is at your back. Enjoy them. Don't apologize for them. Just don't confuse them with permanence. The hill always returns. Use the good times to prepare, not to coast. Respect yourself enough to try. Respect others enough to be honest. Give a damn about your life because no one else can live it for you. You are allowed to mourn losses, but don't live there. Feel it, then move. Grief teaches, but stagnation kills. Love can be tough and still be love. Discipline can hurt and still be care. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Resilience keeps you standing. You don't need a perfect upbringing to build a meaningful life. You need responsibility, effort, and courage repeated over time. At the end of all of this, the question isn't whether you were successful, it's whether you were engaged, whether you showed up, whether you took the risks that called your name, whether you became more honest, more capable, more alive. You don't need certainty to move. You need faith in motion. Pick something worth chasing. Chase it with integrity. Accept resistance as part of the deal, and keep walking forward. That's how you build a life that actually feels like yours.